As homeschool moms, it's easy to feel like you have to do all of the things that you see on social media, on YouTube, and other places. We can feel inadequate, feeling like we're not doing enough in our home, in our homeschool. So today, I am coming to combat that very lie and to encourage you to do only what God has called you to do. And by doing that, I'm going to be sharing 5 things that I do not do in my homeschool in hopes of encouraging you. This is not to say that you should not be doing these 5 things. It is just to show you the ways that we can adapt to the season and the situations God has called us to. So let's get started. The first thing I don't do is I don't cook hot meals Monday through Friday other than dinner. I spend a little extra time on the weekends, on Saturdays, sometimes Sunday evenings, prepping snacks, breakfasts, and dinners for my family so that they are able to quickly access them, heat them up, and use them throughout the week. So they're still getting nutritious meals and they're still getting healthy things to eat, but I'm not stopping and taking the opportunity to cook up those things during the school day, because when I get pulled away from school to work on cooking, a lot of times it's hard to come back to it and I tend to lose the kids' attention and focus. In our pantry, we have a shelf of different snack options for dry goods and different breakfast options on our breakfast shelf that my kids can easily access. And then we do the same in our fridge, where we have a drawer of snack options and a drawer of breakfast options that they can go and choose from without having to ask me what the options are. As far as lunches, the way that I do this is I will usually cook and do double batches of things on the weekend or throughout the week that I know that we can eat easily for leftovers. So I will make up a big pot of chili or soup that my kids enjoy that they can have for leftovers. I'll do a big Instapot pot of baked potatoes that they can heat up. And we've started having a quick salad bar that my kids can get into and quickly grab out their salad and toppings to make up a quick salad for themselves. And that's great for here at home or on the go. Another thing I don't do in our homeschool is I don't do a chore rotation all throughout the year. So a lot of people will have their kids rotate chores maybe every week or every month. This, to me, takes a lot of extra time and training as I'm teaching my kids new skills, new chore areas, and making sure that they understand how to do those with excellence. So what we have found to be easier is to actually only switch chores over the summer. So you get a chore and you'll have that chore for the entire year. We spend all summer training them on how to do that chore well. And then that way, throughout the school year, they're able to execute that more easily and without as much redirection, being able to master it, and then they still get that rotation where they get to try new things and learn how to take care of the entire house throughout the year. While that specific chore area is what they are in charge of taking care of every single morning, we do family blitzes throughout the house, which is just where we set a 15-minute timer and do a quick pickup. Everybody is responsible to help pick up in every single area for that 15-minute timer until it goes off. So there is still a sense of community and taking care of everything in our home. And of course, they are in charge of their own rooms and spaces, but I love that ability to have that little extra training in specific areas as they learn to master things like the dishes or mastering the bathrooms or other tricky tasks like that. Another thing we don't do in our home is really overly complicated or long morning basket times. We've had seasons where we used to do those kinds of things, but now we use something simple like the morning menu. This whole thing takes us maybe 15 minutes to get through during the day. It's the same idea of a morning basket, of coming and gathering together, spending some time working on your highest priorities first thing in the morning, but we've just kept it really simple this year and are absolutely loving that. We recite our Bible verse for the week and we just read it out loud. No additional explanation or going into a lot. We're learning the books of the Bible right now, so we will sing through those. And then my kids go through their emotions chart, talking. We just each go around and share what we're feeling in that moment and what is a biblical truth we can remind ourselves of. We read a poem. We pray for the persecuted church, just 2 people at a time. And then we go through our daily reminders and we recite that all together. Like I said, all together, this takes only about 15 minutes and is so easy to implement into our day. We've even started this year when I can't be there in the morning because I have to take my daughter to doctor's appointments. My older kids will lead their morning menu time, so it's also something that can be done without me if needed. But I love that time of connection first thing in the morning when possible. I do not do all of the teaching for all 6 of my kids. I am the manager of their curriculum and of their resources. It's my job to find the right resources, tools, and curriculum, the right teachers that would be great for them to learn from, but that's not always me. I help a lot with my kids. I definitely do teach certain subjects to every single one of my kids, but we do enjoy using resources like online curriculums, things like teaching textbooks, Apologia's self-paced science. We enjoy using co-op classes for teaching things like logic or church history. And then of course, we like to use curriculums that maybe are not online, but have the ability for my kids to do it more independently. Things like BiblioPlan for my kiddos or IEW. These have all been great resources for my teens. For my younger ones though, I also outsource several of their materials. For my younger ones, my younger 2, they actually get formal instruction from my friend Wendy over at Plan Prep Pray about 4 days a week for about an hour a day. This is a really easy opportunity for them to go over there and to get sort of a classroom feel, get to hang out with their friends, and they get 1 hour of instruction. And then we do a lot of additional independent activities and reinforcing what they have learned here at home. So I'm still very involved in the process, but it's just a cool opportunity to have something outsourced. For my daughter with special needs, she loves using IXL to help reinforce concepts that she is learning. And we've even done reinforcing things with outside resources like me recording myself, teaching her something, reciting maybe memory verses that she's trying to work on, or doing things like her physical therapy exercises. I have recorded myself doing those so that she can watch those and do them along with me. So it doesn't automatically mean you have to pay a lot of extra money. These can be things that you can create yourself. But having outside resources can really help to lighten the load and help you be able to extend yourself a little bit further without overwhelming yourself. This even extends to things like read alouds. I love to read aloud to my kids. I love the opportunity to learn with them, but that's not always feasible either because of time or because I was more recently diagnosed with a vocal cord dysfunction, which means I get fatigued really easily and can start to lose my voice or even have trouble breathing if I'm reading out loud for too long. Because of this, I love to use resources like Apologia or BiblioPlan that offer audiobook options. So I can read aloud for as long as I can handle it, but then I can also outsource and have the audiobook read aloud for those portions that maybe are a little bit harder for me to get to. We also do this when it comes to family read alouds. I will sometimes read aloud or will utilize audiobooks or sometimes a combination of both. The thing I don't do in my homeschool is I don't do daily lesson planning, at least not in the way you traditionally think of it. I make monthly goals for my family using a monthly planning sheet. I have it in my Etsy store and I'll leave it linked down below if you guys want to check it out, where I set goals of where we'd like to be. So for instance, we would like to cover math lessons 1 through 15 this month, or whatever it might be for each individual kid and each individual subject. Other than that, I don't really mess with their daily planning pages. We just know that we need to do the next thing. For my younger ones, this means making a stack of books next to them at the table. They pick up one off the top, they do the next lesson, page, or activity within that piece of curriculum, and then they move it off to the side and they continue doing so until all the books that started out on this side of the table are now on the other side. This helps them keep track. It makes less work for me as a mom, and it's worked beautifully. But when it comes to my teenagers and specifically my high schoolers, this is a little more challenging because of course their curriculum has more components and is not even mostly workbook based, so that makes it a little harder. So for that, we use Homeschool Panda, which is an app that helps keep track of what schoolwork they need. It's really easy to set up at the beginning of the year, and I'm still not making daily lesson plans. I'm just telling the program essentially how many lessons there are in the program and how many they need to do a day, and then the program sets it up for them. I have a video that actually shows you a lot more on how to set this up and what this can look like, But essentially, they go to our Cozy Life calendar every day and they pull up and see teaching textbooks. They need to do lesson 80 today. They need to do it 1 hour of assigned reading, and so on and so forth. And then they can just check off what they have completed and keep track of what is left for the day. It makes it easy for me and the kids to know exactly what needs to be done. We also prepare for the really rough days by having a bad day box, which is sort of my homeschool substitute lesson plans for the day. And if you want to learn more about what a bad day box is and what's inside of it, you can check out this video here.